Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasubo, and it's always great to be on the show where we discuss books. I hope you visit any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Please always take time to visit us, and we try to share updates on book events, new books that are out, book launches, and of course we share inspiring quotations by writers and authors. We take excerpts from books at times and post there. Basically, if you want to be up to speed with regards to what is happening in the book world, you probably want to just visit us either on X or Instagram or any of our social media platforms, really. So we look forward to getting your messages, your comments, your questions, whatever it is. We'll be very happy to respond. Well, today we've got a new young writer who is so inspiring. Let's get to meet with her and then enjoy her book, Beyond the Surface.
Ebosetae Okoyo is a Canadian-based writer and poet who grew up in Nigeria. Okoyo has a degree in communication media and film from the University of Windsor. Her poetry journey, which spans over 12 years, often delves into themes of resilience, inner strength, vulnerability, and the search for meaning in everyday life. Ebosetae has also applied her passion for storytelling to scripting and film production. She joins Channel's Book Club to discuss her debut collection of poems, Beyond the Surface.
Ebose, nice to have you on Channel's Book Club.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
When did you start writing? I'm going to start off with that. When did you start writing? Because this is really good stuff. We're going to be talking about this on the show, introducing your book to viewers. But what's your story?
So, honestly, I started writing a long time ago, over 12 years ago. And
Over 12 years?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I've been writing since then. Yeah.
What were you writing back then?
It would just be like things happening around me because I mostly write about my experiences. So I just vividly remember, like in secondary school, I know I used to write before that, but the one memory that sticks with me is like in secondary school, I would write about my teachers because some of them are just annoying. I write about my teachers, write about like my environment and things happening around me. So that's what I mainly write about, my experiences.
So writing for you was like therapy then.
Yes.
I've had a lot of writers say that. I mean, writing just gives them expression. They're able to let out all those things
Yes.
in their heads and their minds.
Yes, that's what it is for me. It's like therapy is like everything I'm thinking, whatever my thoughts are, or if I have bottled up emotions, I can write it down and I can just release it.
Do you remember when you went into poetry? Because I know that was prose. I mean, writing about your teacher, writing about what happened today, or did you express those things in poetry?
Like writing about my teachers?
Yeah, those.
Yes.
You started.
So it would, so I would write it in poetry. It would have like, the stanzas. It would have all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So poetry has been, I mean, you've been into poetry for quite a long time.
It's been
Because this book is such a nice book.
Thank you.
Of a collection, it's a collection of poems.
Yes.
So, all right. So let's dig in. Okay. You've got 5 parts in this book.
Yes.
5 chapters.
Yes.
Cracks in the Armor.
Yes.
In the Eye of the Storm, Midnight Musings, Rising from the Ashes, Love Letters.
Yes.
A Journey Through Love, Loss, Healing, and Self-Discovery. So you are a feeler.
Yes, I feel things.
I think that's very, I think it's a very good asset for poets and writers, isn't it so?
I think so, because you have to be able to feel something to be able to express it.
And express in a way that people can get it.
Yes, express it in a way that people can get it. So, yeah, I think it's a major attribute that a lot of poets have, or artists.
Okay, let's dig in. Beyond the Surface, a journey through love, loss, healing, and self-discovery. Does your cover summarize this?
Yes, it does a little bit. So beyond the surface, I get into the title. So beyond the surface, for me, it's like a lot of people tend to see what's on the outer side, and they don't see beyond what's outside. So I could be going through the worst day, and I come out and I'm smiling.
You don't know.
Nobody knows.
Because we're all looking at the surface.
We're all looking at the surface. Same thing with social media. Nobody knows what someone is actually going through. They're just looking at what they post, and so to them, all is well and good, right? But this book is giving like readers like a
unveiling.
Yes, like beyond
taking you beyond
what
surface.
is outside here, just so you don't think that I'm not also human, right? Because some people think that I don't feel things or my life is very rosy. And so I think that a lot of people can relate to it because everybody has gone through some sort of challenge or downtime in their life. So that's basically what the title represents. And for the cover, so there's the cracks and then which kind of like leads up to the tree growing, and then the blossoming of the butterflies, which kind of reflects the journey, you know, when there's cracks in the armor. That is the first chapter, just talking about feeling down, experiencing disappointment, and then, you know, finding yourself through all that fog and blossoming into this beautiful tree and butterflies. So that's basically what the cover captures.
Very interesting, very interesting. Now let's dig into your chapters now. The first one, let's do this. Let's pick a poem you wrote, and then use that to introduce us into what that section of the book says, or the message of the section of the book. So, cracks in the armor. What's your message here? Cracks in the armor.
Basically, there's been a crack. You know, when you build up your wall, there's been a crack in there, and now it's all come crashing down.
The fence is down.
Yes, very down. So that's basically what this chapter talks about.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a poem here that illustrates it pretty well?
Yes. So I would say the poem "What Does Heartbreak Feel Like?" I would say that's
page 4. Let's dive in there. Let's see. Page 4. What does heartbreak feel like?
Oh, you know what? I just found another poem that.
There's another one you prefer.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so
which one is that?
it's called Internal Wolves. It's page 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go there. Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Internal wolves.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm gonna read. So it goes, battered by the scuffles of life, choked in desolation, scars that reveal past woes, partly healed lacerations reopened by flashbacks, an ongoing battle internally, a perfectly put together exterior. If only they knew the half of it. If only they knew that this mask hid the misery so well, that she began to bask in the glory of it. It hid the torture so well, that she began to lead a double life that held a conspiracy of silence. If only they knew. So this kind of also goes back to the title of the poem as well, or the book as well. If only they knew like what the outer exterior was covering, and that I don't know if you've ever seen this picture where there's a smiley face outside, and then at the back of it is like a very down, sad face.
This is really deep because it's really deep. The more I think about it as you're talking, and I mean, looking at this poem, it hid the torture so well that she began to lead a double life that held a conspiracy of silence. It is so common.
Yes.
It's so common. All we see is that exterior, what he's wearing or what she's wearing, and the smile and everything. But we don't really know what's going on. That's what you are trying to.
That's exactly. And a lot of people go through that because, sometimes we see people maybe going through a they go through a very bad mental breakdown. And then you hear people saying, oh my God, I never knew that. She had such an amazing life.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when like you're just seeing the exterior. And so for this poem, I always say, if you're asking someone how are they doing, don't just ask it as a means of endearment or just passing. Ask it genuinely, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people, me included, when I wrote this, were going through like a lot of stuff. But you know, that's why it says the conspiracy of silence, because once everybody just thinks everything is going well, there's no point of even like saying anything anymore. It's like, okay, you're very used to going outside, smiling, and then coming back inside and just going through everything by yourself.
Midnight Musings.
Okay.
What's that about?
Midnight Musings. Honestly, this one was from the name. It's poems I wrote at night. It's like when my mind, because at night when I'm not doing anything, my mind wanders a lot. So these are poems I wrote at night.
A lot of them about love. Are you a romantic?
I like to believe so.
You are. Okay. Selfish love, beautiful man, fantasy love. Hey, stranger, if I had a man, sons of the night, time will not wait for you, my lover, wings of envy, embracing silence, to be bound by desire, illusions of lust, timeless devotion. Which one are you going for here?
I'm going to go with Sins of the Night because it also kind of plays into...
Sins of the Night, where is that at? 46?
46, yes.
I hope kids can listen to this one. There's one I read there that I thought kids might not be able to.
No.
I don't cope well with that. 46.
46, yes.
Okay, let's see.
No, I think kids will be able to listen to this.
It's safe. Okay, let's go.
Okay. So, do you want to read this?
Yeah, she danced all night in her birthday suit. She tried to drink all her problems away. Don't we?
Yep.
She accepted open invites from Casanovas. She hoped to drown all misery in the sinkhole the liquor had created. Even if for a moment, yet there was life. Watching her, not judging her wild antics, because once morning comes and she's puked all her sins, everything comes back and the cycle repeats.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So this just plays into sometimes we want to try to forget what it is that we're going through. And it could be with trying to use liquor. Some people try to use other means. But regardless of what you use, you're going to sober up. And all your problems are just going to come back. So this is what this talks about, because I, at some point as well, tried to self-medicate and try to forget things with liquor. But then at some point, you sober up, you wake up.
And then you're back to...
And you're back to square one.
World.
Yeah, you're back to reality. And obviously you can't keep doing that. So that is what this poem talks about, trying to forget your problems, but you can't forget your problems away. You can't drink your problems away. They're just going to be there staring at you right in the face, waiting for you to wake up.
So you might as well just
face
those
it head
problems,
on. Yes.
Deal with them.
Yes.
Okay. That's deep. Rising from the ashes.
Yes.
What's that?
Rising from the ashes. This is, you know, me starting to feel like myself again, me starting to face these problems head on and starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you remember, in the eye of the storm, I didn't know if there was an end in sight, but at this point, I'm finally seeing an end in sight because I have decided to face my problems head on and realize that my problems do not make me, they're not who I am. Everybody goes through problems. As long as you fight to come out on the other side stronger. So this is what this chapter talks about.
Okay. Love letters. And we are back to love. Ebosa. Love letters.
So love letters is just letters to myself. It's like, or letters to my readers. Like, this is me now confidently loving myself. Because before anybody can love you, or before you can love anybody, you have to love yourself. You have to feel confident in yourself. You have to believe that I am that girl, I am that woman, I am the table, I am everything and more.
So this is the importance of self-love.
Self-love, yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay, that's really powerful. Dear younger me, how would you like to be loved? Too much. Sweet love, a prayer for you. Letter to my unborn. A mother's love, a poem for my mom. What will it feel like to find genuine love? Letter to my readers, part 1. Letter to my readers, part 2. Remember. So which one are you going for here?
So I'm going to read the monologue that says, Dear Younger Me. And why I'm reading this is because I think that this is also a message to younger girls like myself, younger girls than me, what I would have liked someone to tell me when I was going through all these situations. So
okay,
I'm going to read that one.
84, page 84.
Page 84, yes. Okay. So, Dear Younger Me, if I could fold this note into a paper airplane and send it flying back through the years, I would. I'd aim it straight for your open window, where you sit, dreaming big dreams and nursing small wounds. Firstly, know this. You were never at fault for leading with your heart. Your heart, so full and so brave, is not a liability. It is your superpower. It is the compass that guides you, even when it leads you through storms and thorny paths. Don't regret the times it made you vulnerable. Celebrate the courage it gave you to love, to feel, and to grow. You're brave, braver than you'll ever know at that age. The things you've experienced would weigh down souls twice your age, but you carry them like feathers on the wings of your ambition. You turn them into wind beneath you, lifting you higher and pushing you to go further. And for the times you think you failed, for the moments you feel like you've fallen short, I forgive you. I forgive you for ever thinking you needed validation from anyone else. I forgive you for ever doubting that you're more than enough just as you are. And when people ask what you bring to the table, remember this. You are the whole damn table. You deserve the freedom to move forward without the chains of past regrets holding you back. So keep leading with that big, beautiful heart of yours. Keep being brave, keep feeling deeply, and keep turning your challenges into stepping stones. One day, you'll look back and realize that every choice, every tear, every laugh, and every struggle was a brushstroke in the masterpiece that is you. With all the love and wisdom I've gained, your older self.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what a note to end this.
Yes.
What a note. Fantastic.
Thank
Great
you.
work you've done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And keep writing.
I will.
Thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Ebosetae. She's inspiring. Get a copy of Beyond the Surface, read it, and let's know what you think. Before we round up on the show today, here's a reading. Enjoy it.
Hello there. My name is Ebosetae Okoyo. I'm the author of Trace of Fate. So I'll be reading from the chapter titled Adobe from page 119. Adobe's life was the perfect fusion of American pop culture and the Nigerian values her parents held on to so tightly. Born and bred in the Bronx, she was as American as apple pie, though in her case, it was more like pizza slices and hip-hop beats. Her father held down a steady job at CBS, while her mother's long shifts as a nurse made sure there was always food on the table. The streets of New York were her playground, and the city's heartbeat was in sync with hers. From a young age, Adobe soaked in everything around her. The late-night bodegas, the endless stream of yellow cabs, the graffiti-streaked subway cars, and the unmistakable pulse of New York City. She was a true Bronx girl, repping her borough with pride. She could rap along to every Queen Latifah verse, knew the best spots to get chopped cheese, and mastered the art of side-eyeing anyone who dared to look at her funny on the train. But as she hit high school, her parents started to worry. Adobe was diving headfirst into the American teenage experience, and they feared she was losing touch with the Nigerian culture they had fought so hard to maintain. She was spending more time hanging out with her friends after school, jamming to the latest Jay-Z album, and less time at family dinners where her mother served jollof rice and told stories about life back in the village. Adobe's descent into the depths of American teenage culture was swift, and in her parents' eyes, alarming. She had always been a good girl, polite, studious, and respectful. But high school in the Bronx was a different beast. The allure of fitting in, of being part of the crowd, started to pull her away from the values her parents had worked so hard to instill. It all came to her head one Friday night. Adobe had asked her parents if she could spend the night at her friend Rachel's house. Rachel lived just a few blocks away, and her parents were strict, so Adobe's parents didn't think twice before giving their consent. Little did they know that Rachel's older brother was throwing a party, a rave as they called it, and was far from the innocent sleepover that they imagined. The night was a blur of pounding music, flashing lights, and the heady mix of alcohol and smoke. Adobe found herself swept up in the thrill of it all, dancing to the bar's heavy beat and laughing with friends. Someone passed her a joint, and though she hesitated for a moment, the pressure still fading pushed her to take a puff. The rest of the night passed in a hazy mist of excitement and rebellion, with Adobe feeling like she was finally part of something bigger, something undeniably American. When she finally made it home the next morning, still groggy and with a slight headache, she hoped to sneak past her parents unnoticed. But as soon as she walked through the door, her mother's sharp eyes caught something amiss. Adobe, her mother called from the kitchen. "Come here, please." Adobe's heart raced. She knew that tone. It was the one her mother used when she was about to ask a question she already knew the answer to. Trying to stay calm, Adobe walked into the kitchen, her hands shoved deep into her pockets. "Yes, Mom?" she asked, her voice as casual as she could manage. Her mother looked up from where she was stirring a pot of stew, her nose wrinkling slightly as Adobe got closer. "What's that smell?" Adobe's heart sank. "What smell?" she asked, feigning ignorance, though she knew exactly what her mother was referring to. "That smell," her mother insisted, narrowing her eyes. "It smells like marijuana." "Adobe, where were you last night?" Adobe fumbled for an answer, her mind racing. "I was at Rachel's. We just hung out, watched movies." Her mother's face hardened. "Don't lie to me, Adobe. I wasn't born yesterday." So we've just heard the beginnings of Adobe's story. She's a second-generation Nigerian American whose parents had to send home for obvious reasons. Furthermore, in the book, we also follow her through bi-coastal identity and a painful breakup. I find myself naturally advocating for women, highlighting gender inequalities, as well as celebrating human resilience. So all in all, my hopes are to spark reflection, inspire change, as well as showcase the power and the strength of women in the face of adversity. Thank you once again, and don't forget to get your copy.
This is where we have to end the show today. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.